Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question that you see every single day in SEO forums, and that is, how do you really know what the Google ranking factors are? How do you know what's actually going to work for SEO? Throughout time, the algorithms for different search engines have continued to change and evolve and get more sophisticated. Things that worked 10 years ago or even 5 years ago might not be effective today. How do you really know what things that people say are going to work are actually going to work? I mean, the bottom line is anything that you have a theory about, you have to put to the test in the field and you have to find out whether something's going to work. Now, I think most of the time Google is trying to help SEOs and webmasters and give them good advice. And most of the advice that they give is not that nuanced, but it's if you do these things, you're going to have successful SEO in most cases, which is try and create content that helps people get to a goal, offer unique content or unique value in your content, have good user experience and design, have a site that loads fast and loads up on mobile. Don't do a lot of things to try and clutter up this experience, and of course always be working on trying to build your brand. Do the natural hyping up of your brand, the natural promotion of your brand. There is a lot of nuance to things that people ask. People are always trying to ask very specific things to Google representatives, and they're not going to tell you the exact secret sauce. They're not going to give you the exact secret formula to this, but these are the guidelines that you really should follow. Do things that are natural. And one rule that I have too when it comes to strategy, if search engines did not exist at all, would you still be doing this? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably a good strategy. But if the answer is no, I'm only doing this because search engines exist and I'm trying to make them happy. Even if it's a thing that works right now in this moment, probably at some point that is a loophole that's going to be closed. Over the last 10 years, and especially over the last 6 or 7 years, Google has gotten very good at closing a lot of manipulated loopholes, things that people used to exploit. Now, 15, 20 years ago, you could keyword stuff a page and it would work. That doesn't work anymore. You have to get people to a goal. Your page has to have good sounding content. You're not writing for users or search engines. You're writing for users. Google does use real user signals in determining and finalizing what they think about a page. It's not just simply looking at keywords in a title tag or in the content of a page. Now, if you do those things, is it going to help you rank? Of course it is. But there's a lot more nuance to this. Google wants to reward the best content, the most unique content, and the content that's getting users and searchers to a goal and a destination and fulfilling the intention of their search. Google wants people to keep using their search engine because if they have that market share, then the people that don't rank or want a quick win can use AdWords, which is 99% of their revenue generation is through advertising. To do that, they must maintain market share, and to maintain market share, they must deliver the best search results. That is how they can build up their advertising. Something to keep in mind, people have quoted this article. This article is from a noteworthy SEO whose name comes up a lot, but people say there's over 200 factors. There's ranking factors, and we have them all here. Google has said that many years ago. Now it's probably 5 years ago. But I would say from things that I've read that there are probably more factors than that now. There might even be thousands of little factors because of things that I've heard Google representatives say in Hangouts and say on stage and say to different blog publications. What Google engineers have now is they have teams of engineers working on different miniature algorithms that roll into the main ranking algorithm. They all roll into this one thing. But machine learning is taking on a bigger and bigger aspect of this, meaning that over time with larger and larger data sets, they can not only effectively rank things that have the best content and push those to the top, trusted brands, trusted sites that deliver good results to people over time, and using the natural language API They can predict what's in this content of this page. Is this going to satisfy people? Back that up with user signals. But also, they have things in their algorithm that predict documents, web pages that will satisfy search queries that have never been seen before, emerging search queries. Who should you listen to when it comes to SEO type of advice? I would suggest that it would be best to look at the general advice that Google is giving you. And again, they're not going to give you the exact secret formula, but they're going to give you tidbits of advice and give you the general direction that you should be going, and learn to listen between the things that they're saying a little bit, because they don't want to give away too much. They don't want to give the formula to people who would still try and game the system. But I would say also listen to people who are doing SEO on a daily basis, the people who are still knee deep in it, and they're working with clients, they're working with organizations to help them with their SEO, because they're going to have a very good sense of what is still working and where this is going. I would be a little hesitant to listen to blogs that repeat things that have been being repeated for the last 5 or 6 years without putting it to the test. Anything that you say is a factor or a ranking factor, put it to the test. And again, there's a saying that I like to repeat on this channel a lot, and that is any ranking factor that can be manipulated easily with the Fiverr gig or an Amazon Mechanical Turk gig is not a good signal. If it could be manipulated that easily, it's not a good signal. So there's a lot of things that are conventional wisdom, such as bounce rate, have a low bounce rate, and that means that it's a good page. Not necessarily so. That can be gained with a Fiverr gig, getting people to negatively SEO a competitor page by going there and bouncing out. Bounce rate just means that if you go to one page and then you leave that site, you can still accomplish your goal. Does that make it a bad page? No, it doesn't. That's an example of an SEO myth and something that gets repeated a lot. Another thing is long pages. Having long pages, satisfying a word count, because studies have said that longer pages tend to rank higher. Now, that's a correlation, it's not a causation, meaning longer pages tend to rank because they tend to cover the subjects that people are trying to find the answer to. They're satisfying the intention of the search by including some information that people are trying to find. Now, you don't need to do this for every single search query. In some cases, you have to have the right functionality. For example, in some cases, people really are just looking to buy something on an e-commerce shop, and they don't necessarily want to read a listicle about the top 10 items in this e-commerce category. They actually just want to buy something. And sometimes it's the reverse. So looking at these things and understanding that is a big part of SEO. Now, there are certain things that we know for a fact or play some role in better SEO. Is it good to have a site that loads quickly? Yes, it is, versus a site that loads very slow. Yes. Is it the only factor that matters? No, it is not the only factor that matters. There's other things that you have to do. So definitely listen to the things that Google is trying to help you, because I think in a lot of cases, they are trying to point you in the right direction without giving away too much information or trade secrets. But at the same time, put anything that you read or hear or anything that's often repeated in SEO, put it to the test, because there are a lot of things that people say this will help. Sometimes it's not necessarily going to help all that much. It might help that much. So put these things always to the test in the field, and you will know, because the rankings will reflect it. And if it's not working, then it's probably not working for a reason. If it is working, it means you're doing something right. So my name is John Locke. My business is Lockedown Design and SEO, and I'm here about 3 days a week giving SEO advice and tips. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Go ahead and subscribe. I think we're passing 1,000 subscribers, or we're just about to. Really right around that edge. That's amazing. I would love to get that for the end 2020, go into 2021, going very strong. But if you're watching this, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching this video. That's all I have for now. Until next time, peace.